everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we are here today to talk about the spring movies. It's going to be really fun on Hallmark Channel and Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. And I'm film critic Rachel Wagner, and Jazzman is here.
Hi, guys. I am back.
Yay. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. Spring. We have April showers. Expecting May flowers with these allergies.
Yeah, I've been like on a sneezing fit. I apologize if I have to stop this podcast because I have lately, the allergies have been getting to me. I've been sneezing.
Same here. I woke up with like my nose itching. I'm like, no, not today. We're doing good.
Yeah. Yeah, this is that time of year when it's just very gray and you're just like, come summer soon. I need you. At least you're in Utah.
Yeah, we got a little of that. It's been going up and down for the past like week. 1 minute it's hot, next minute it's raining, next minute it's windy. I'm like, thank you, bipolar of California.
I mean, that is the best part of living in California, though, is the weather is so nice. I mean, yeah, you have the bipolar, but for the most part, the weather is so temperate and just nice all year.
That part.
Yeah, that is a good part about living in California. But how do you think what do you think of Hallmark 2022? How do you think they've done so far? I think it's been a good start.
Slowly but surely.
Uh-huh.
It's slowly but surely. At first, I was like, what's going on with these lineups right now? As I slowly started watching them, okay, they're starting to get a little more interesting, but I feel like they're saving some more stuff for summer. I don't know why. Mm-hmm. I have a feeling they're saving a lot of stuff for summer.
Yeah, well, we did our May preview this week with Hannah and Katie, and there was some really interesting stuff coming up. We got the Rip Van Winkle Jr. movie, which I am so excited for.
I know everybody's talking about it right now.
It looks bonkers, and I'm excited for it. But yeah, I basically agree. I thought that both January and February were pretty weak as far as movies. I wasn't as big a fan of the Wedding Veil movies as most people seem to have been. But then I thought that March was pretty good. And we already talked a little bit. We did a whole episode on Just One Kiss and Always Amore. So we're just going to do those a little more briefly. But those were, I think, pretty strong, both of those.
They were. Definitely were. Those are like my top favorites.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, let's dive in. Let's talk about these movies, and we'll see what we thought about all of them. And you'll have to let us know if you're listening what you thought. And so it started out on the 26th of March. We had A Second Chance at Love, and this is Gloria Rubin, Eric LaSalle, Alvina August, Jared Joseph, and Matthew James Dowden. Director Alphonse Atuyi, and writer Chad Quinn. And it's Alicia and Arnold's marriage is picture perfect. However, Arnold is ready to grow their family, but Alicia is hesitant to the idea. Rather than facing the problem, Alicia sets her divorced parents each up on a blind dating app. So what did you think of this one?
I wanted to love this movie. I really wanted to so bad, but I feel like the parents were more interesting than the actual main character, which is the daughter. Like, mind you, I love me some Alvina August. Like, me and her, we're friends on Instagram. But I feel like her character could have been a little bit more stronger, like her character, who she was playing. Because I was rooting for the husband to get a divorce, honestly.
Yeah, the idea that this is a picture perfect marriage, as the summary says, is ridiculous. I didn't even think that they liked each other, let alone loved each other.
That's why they were just there to be married. Like, they had no options left.
Yeah.
But I love like the parents, because they're original, was it ER, alumni, so it kind of makes it, nostalgic a little bit. But I love like their technology was like they're older. Like, how do I do this? How do I, kind of makes like the older commercials of like eHarmony a little bit, like with the older people. Like, this is like dorky a little bit, but it was.
Yeah.
It could have been better. I feel like it could have been more explained more about. I know the theme was a little bit about divorce, like, parents, about a child, but I feel like it could have been executed a little bit more better. Like, instead of her reasonings why, it could have been like, you know what, I had a bad experience with divorced parents. I don't want to bring my child into that environment. I feel like that could have been more clarified in the plot.
Yeah, this script was weak. It was just not a great script. The I didn't like any of the characters really. I wasn't rooting for them. I I really felt like Alvina's character was difficult and frustrating. And I just didn't feel like any of the characters really loved each other. And that's a big problem in a romance.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a bummer. I mean, you've got this incredible cast. I love all of these actors. They are so talented. I would have just loved for it to be a cute, bubbly rom com or even just a better drama. But this, to me, it felt like something that you would see on one of like Tyler Perry's dramas, but not as fun.
Yeah, it's like more like it's like image like it could have been on like
Like one of
on
those own soap operas.
yes.
That's what it felt like, but not as fun, not as campy, not as enjoyable.
Yes. But hopefully this critique will help the next, version of this and make it more better. Like I said, I was rooting for the husband, like, bro, just get the divorce. Like, usually I don't like vote for like, divorces, but you're not happy.
Yeah,
Like, I'll
it
marry
did
you.
not. It did not seem like they should get married again. It didn't seem like they liked each other or trusted each other. I don't know. And I love, especially Gloria Rubin. I love her.
Yes.
Uh, She's so good. And there is a Lifetime Christmas movie which I really liked. I feel like almost nobody else enjoyed it, but it had Tori Braxton in it,
Oh, I think I know what you're
and
talking about. Hmm.
yeah, and it was a Christmas Carol take. But what I liked about it is instead of money making her cold, like is the typical Christmas Carol,
Of course.
instead of that, it was the fact that her parents died in a car accident suddenly on Christmas, and that's what made her cold was grief and trauma. And I thought that was a really interesting take on the character of Scrooge. And the romance in it didn't work very well, but I what they did is they had her parents being all of the ghosts, and Gloria Rubin played her mom. And every time she saw her mom, she would like lose it. Even if she had just left her just minutes before, which is so accurate. I feel like that's true. If it would, especially with a traumatic loss,
Yes.
seeing them again would be just devastating.
Hmm. Like, you're trying to hold on to whatever's left. It doesn't matter if it was a ghost.
Hmm.
Like, don't leave me. I already got left for
Right.
once. Do not leave me.
Yeah. So I liked that movie. I thought it was good, and I love Gloria Rubin. She's great. I like this whole cast. I just didn't like the script. I
It
thought
could have
it
been
was
better.
really, yeah. It was boring. It was just I just didn't like the characters or the conflict. So it
Hmm.
was a bummer.
I know. I was like, no. I was anticipating this too. I was anticipating like this movie. I was
Yeah.
excited. I was like, no.
And I said it before, but sometimes I feel like Hallmark thinks that when they do a story with people of color that they have to make it somehow a drama with like gravitas or whatever. And that's
Which
not
you
true.
don't.
Like everybody deserves to have light, fluffy, fun rom-coms made about them.
Exactly. I 100% agree.
Yeah. So more rom-coms, Hallmark.
Please,
Stop,
please,
stop with these dramas.
please let us know. Not
So
gonna
I
get
don't
it.
know. I give this one a pretty low score. I really didn't. It was a tough to get through. Like a 1.5 crowns.
That was nice. I gave it a 2.
Yeah. It was rough. It really was. I don't know anybody who liked it.
Yeah, I haven't talked to any of my friends yet. I'm like, did you guys watch Hallmark yet?
Yeah. I mean, especially you're like one of the most positive people I know about
I know,
these
and it was
movies.
so sad. I was just like, I want to love this movie, but I was just like, I really was rooting for the husband. Like, I'm sorry, like we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
switch into like a whole lifetime situation. Like, just get the divorce. Like, the girl was checking you
Yeah.
out. You felt validated. Like, you deserve to have happiness. And kudos to the best friend. His friend, like, talk to your wife. Like, he about to leave. Like,
Right.
I was with you. Like, I hope you pack your bags.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Which you should not be feeling in a romance.
Exactly.
You shouldn't be
I feel
feeling
like
like, "Well,"
if that was the case, we could have moved this to Hallmark Movies and Mysteries and
yeah.
made
Oh
this
yeah.
like a Christmas or like some type of like fall, harvest, like sad moment.
Instead, everybody should just watch Deliver by Christmas with Alvina in it.
Yes,
That is so good. I love that
yes,
movie.
I do too. I can.
Hmm.
I'm gonna watch
Yeah.
it again after
It
this.
was
I'm gonna
one of
watch it.
my favorite. I think it was my favorite that year,
Yeah, it blew me
2020.
away. Like that was her debut in
Mm,
Hallmark, and that blew me away.
it was so good. We'd like to take a second from this episode of the podcast to celebrate our sponsor of this episode, and that is the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast?
Do you want an inside scoop into what happens on the podcast?
Do you want early access to episodes and loads of cool perks?
Now is the time to become a patron of Hallmarkies Podcast.
By becoming a patron, you get to access our patron Facebook group.
You can request episodes or even be a guest on the podcast.
And most importantly, any patron can join our monthly movie watch-alongs with stars like Paul Campbell, Natalie Hall, and more.
It's as low as $2 a month to join in and become a special part of the Hallmarkies family.
Please consider, and we will love you forever.
Go to patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
All right. Well, next we have Just One Kiss. This was on the 2nd. It stars
Yeah.
Krista Rodriguez, Santino Fontana, Ileana Douglas, Jeff Beasley director, Nina Wyman writer. Two complete opposites with disastrous love lives are brought together, unbeknownst by them, by their matchmaking mothers. So again, we already did a full episode where we talked for I think over an hour on this movie or close to it. So I'll put a link to that one if you want to hear even more. But Jazzman, what'd you think of Just One Kiss?
Okay, when I watched this, it gave me like a little like late '90s vibe. How it like the
Hmm.
whole like the scenes and everything. I'm sitting here like, man, I feel like I'm really watching an old school like Lifetime movie. They're talking about life and everything, and then the spoiler of it all at the end, I had to rewind it twice. I'm like, no way. Now I understood. Like, what? Yes, the link's down below. Watch the full commentary of the hour. Like, I was surprised that the moms were like ghosts setting their kids up, and I'm like wondering why they yelling at each other? Like, they're not telling their moms to be quiet. What's going on? And just it
Yeah,
was just beautiful. I'm like, oh my gosh.
it was so brilliantly done, executed. Like once I watched it a second time, I noticed how they weren't actually interacting with the moms in the scenes, but it made it feel like they were. They were very clever about it.
Yes, I really thought that because 'cause I thought that one of the moms were actually gone, like which was the main was Zach's mom, and I thought she was gone, but I didn't know Taylor's mom was gone. I was like, wait a minute, no one tells me anything. Like it was done beautifully. I can say that.
Yeah, you mean Tony's mom?
Yes.
Yeah, Tony and Mia's mom, they were so cute and funny, and I don't know, I just thought it added a like special unique feel to this movie that uh, that it wasn't expected. And I think it really did feel like a late 90s rom-com, like something that you would have gotten from Nora Ephron or someone like that. It was really good. I think that it's maybe Nina Wyman's best script she's ever done, which is saying a lot because she is the queen.
Hey, gotta give her that
She's so
crown.
good at these scripts.
Like I'm like this called the actor. Can we get like the mom their own movie? Because I want to see them in action, setting up like their daughter, like their granddaughter and their niece, and later on, like
Yeah.
in another rom com. I'm here for it.
I could, you know what? I really could see like a Mrs. Miracle kind of type series for these two moms. That kind of thing where it's like an angel, coming and helping, but it's two and they're super cute and fun.
Hallmark, if you're hearing this, give me Rachel a deal. Like,
Yeah.
you can make this like a Touched by an Angel situation, but a Hallmark version.
But cute and fun and bubbly and
Exactly.
yes, we're available, Hallmark.
Let us know.
Yeah. But I loved Santino Fontana. He was so good in this movie. He was so confident. And I
Yes.
liked, of course, all of his singing, but also that
I was gonna ask that. I was like,
he,
"This is real voice." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I can sit in the
yeah.
lounge with you."
Oh, and I liked that he was kind of insecure because his previous relationships hadn't been happy with his career choices, but she was like they were just like the perfect pairing of the two of
Yes.
them. And when they're up there on that roof and dancing, and oh, it was so
That
good.
rooftop. That
Oh,
rooftop. And then the
and
dreams. In the dreams.
yeah, the dreams were so good, and she's an incredible singer too.
I'm just in here like I'm like, where was this movie all my life?
And little Ava Grace, she was so good.
Oh,
She did great. I mean, she's one of our favorites on One Calls the Heart. But
yes.
this was the first role that I've seen from her where she felt more like a teenager than a child actor. So I was proud of her. She did really well. The only I guess flaw I have with this movie is that I do think the ex-husband is a little Lifetime thrillery. He's a little stalkerish and weird to me.
He
Like, I feel like you only have to change a
really was.
few things and this becomes a Lifetime thriller pretty easily.
I'm gonna be in your life. Like I really am her husband. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
moved in. I'm like,
he's
damn.
like, what are you doing to my wife? And he's like, ex-wife, and he's like, uh,
He takes
he's
her
like technicalities. I'm
coffee.
like, no, that's a really important
Yes, and takes her
thing.
coffee. I'm just like, Lord.
Yeah, yeah, he takes her coffee.
She's like, "Where's my coffee?" I'm like,
Yeah, and he lies about moving back in, and just all of that was like, you needed the conflict. I get it, but he was just a little too creeperish to me
yeah.
sometimes.
I really like he moved into the building when he first had his stuff there. I was like, "Oh hell no!"
Right.
I'm like, "You're going
But
too
they at
far."
least resolved it pretty quick, and the whole ending with him coming to the movie theater
Yes.
and being like, "I wonder if Cary Grant could really kiss like that," and all this stuff.
I was like, "Okay." And then when that's when like the whole epiphany came out with the moms were like ghosts. I'm like, "Wait a
Yeah.
minute. Wait, this is like the clever way to explain like, oh no, like they passed away." I'm like,
Uh-huh.
wow. And I
Yeah.
also connected with those characters, the moms, because they had a whole hand in putting their kids together from like the free cheesecakes to getting the apartment area, everything,
Yeah.
laying out all the groundwork.
Yeah. And this whole movie pretty much was set on a was filmed on a back lot, I
Yes,
should say.
yes, I definitely could
But
tell.
yeah, but I liked that because it kind of added to this sort of old school quality to it all.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like a movie from the past.
Exactly.
And I think it actually helped it. And she looked gorgeous. I loved all her dresses. I thought she looked so
Yes,
good.
yes. Especially the first time
Hmm.
when she went to the club, I was like, "That's
Oh
it."
yeah, that red dress.
Yes.
It was really good. The red dress, and then what she has at the end, she has that sparkly dress, and then
Oh
this
yeah.
she has sparkly dress in the dream sequences that looked really good.
Yes. Fashion was great.
And
Even
I
the
loved,
superstitions.
yeah, and I loved the kissing scenes were all so good, and they have their scene, of course, on the roof, but then also in the hallway, and he's like,
Yes,
"Don't worry, dating is complicated. You're diving into somebody's life," and that was a really good moment, I thought.
definitely.
Yeah. So it was great. I think in the other episode, I think I gave it a 4.9 crowns, or maybe even a 5. I might have given it a perfect 5 even with Creepy Husband.
Like,
I love this one. I could watch it again and again. It was great.
I'm giving out my first 5.
Yeah, 5.
I'm giving my first
Yeah.
5 out, you guys. This is it. Okay.
It
Just grab you
deserves
some
it.
popcorn. Just grab you some popcorn. You'll be fine.
Mhm. Yeah, it was certainly one of the best non-Christmas, that's for sure. Next, we had a royal runaway romance. And this stars Philippa Northeast and Brant Daughtry, director David Weaver, writer Jake Helgren. And it's Princess Amelia of Banbury travels across America to explore a budding romance with an artist, only to fall in love with her bodyguard, Grady. So, director David Weaver, he's been a good friend of the podcast. He's super talented and we really enjoy him. And then I got to interview Jake Helgren this last Christmas season, and he's really fun. And when I first heard about this, I was like, oh, I think I gave it a pretty low score in the preview. It didn't sound that great, but I think because of this team behind it, I
Mhm.
thought it was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected. So maybe low expectations helped. I don't think they had like the best chemistry overall, but I thought that the script was entertaining and it was overall a cute movie.
Mhm.
What do you think?
Let's see. I'm gonna rename the title because as I'm watching the movie the whole time, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna call it The First Royal Crossroads, combining the first daughter movie with Katie Holmes in it and the
Oh
Crossroad
yeah.
movie with Britney Spears into one. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. I
gonna
mean it's definitely not reinventing the wheel. This movie has been done a million times.
yeah.
But I don't know, I thought it was overall charming. The stops along the way, the
Mhm.
banter between them.
Exactly. I was like, okay. And then just I think it was just coming to self. I think the whole movie was about a princess standing on her own feet, exploring the world where her mom is wanting her to explore the world and wants her to, you know, you gotta be a queen now. You gotta do this, but she hasn't seen the world yet to even understand what the world problems are or see places. And I think
Mhm.
that gave her that outlet to go see, the painter who did her painting, who was a complete douchebag. But yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting cuz they started with her kissing this other guy and having this
Yes.
romance and everything. And so, but it definitely had a little bit of a Roman holiday feel to it.
Hmm.
The princess, getting her freedom and going on this adventure. But it just shows to show when you have a formula, it's a formula for a reason because we like it and it works when it's done well, and
Yes.
when it's got good banter, good writing, it's entertaining, and I I thought that we did get some pretty hunky moments with
Oh yeah,
Van
we did.
Daughtry.
We did. We
Yeah,
did.
thank you,
I was like, I
Durant,
was like,
for that.
I was like, can you be my bodyguard?
Yeah.
Y'all
We got a
really
nice
love country.
nice scene in the towel. That was exciting.
Oh yes. Yes.
Um, and yeah, I just overall was like, this is cute. I've never seen this Philippa Northeast before, but I thought she was good. She
I
has
know. I
nice
never seen her
charisma.
either. So I'm gonna have to keep her on
And
my radar a little bit.
yeah, yeah. She hasn't been in that many things. That's why. She only has 7 credits in IMDb. So she's new, but I thought she was good. I would definitely use her again
Mhm. I can
if
see
I
her
was
in a Christmas
Hallmark.
movie for sure. I can see her in a Christmas, like,
Mm-hmm.
arena for one of the 40 movies, or it could be 50
Mm-hmm.
this year. We don't never know. And I
Yeah.
can and I can see her either as a competitive princess, changing the roles up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And I thought it had a really good ending kiss.
Oh my
That was really
gosh. Yes.
she comes back.
I'm like, "Thank you, come back." And he's on the farm, he's with the horses. On thing we're missing was his shirt off, but it was great. It was the parents' anniversary, so he couldn't have his shirt off yet.
Mm-hmm. You're right. That might have been a little bit too much.
Too much. But I did love, like, their one-on-one when they had their little picnic on that,
Yeah, that
private
was cute.
property. I was just like it was just amazing, and then along the way, she was kinda doing her, duties, but seeing it from a whole different perspective from the common people,
Mm-hmm.
in a sense. I was just like,
Well,
"Okay."
and the guy who played Wes, he was pretty dreamy too.
Like
They could use him again.
Like we're just saying, use it one more. He could be for a fall harvest movie.
Oh, yeah.
I'm putting it out there. Hallmark, hear me out.
He's done a bunch for Lifetime. I'm looking on here.
Ooh.
Yeah. He was in the Victoria Gotti movie. A bunch of other ones. Undercover cheerleader.
That's
The secrets of a Marine's wife.
dun dun
So,
dun.
yeah, like the chemistry wasn't the best. I didn't quite buy them together,
Mhm.
but it wasn't like terrible that it ruined the movie or anything like
Oh,
that. But yeah, I would give this one. I don't know. I might give it a 4. I thought it was cute. I really enjoyed it.
I was gonna go 3.5, close to 4 too. I was like, can I do like 3.8?
That's okay. On April 3rd, over on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries, we had Always Amore, and this we also talked about in this separate episode, starring Autumn Reeser and Tyler Hines. And this was directed by Kevin Fair and written by Julie Sherman Wolfe. And it follows Elizabeth, who is forced to work with Ben, a pro restaurant consultant, to keep her late husband's Italian restaurant afloat. But as they get closer, she realizes that not all change is bad and might even open her heart to new love. So, what did you think of this movie overall?
This movie, I would say this movie was better than her Wedding Vow movie because they're both like an Italian setting, but this one was over her Wedding Vow movie, and I can say that. I love their chemistry. Honestly, like just her, it just felt so like she's going through this loss, but trying to keep her husband's memory alive. Same time, like her business falling because it wasn't where it used to be. Now it's like there's newcomers coming in, like you don't know our business side, any of what our foundation is, but she's trying to have this hope, but the love that they start to build along the way, I started to see it. I did, but Nona was my favorite though.
Yeah, she was cute. Yeah, I liked this one. I thought that it was pretty good. I mean, it again, kind of like the royal movie. It didn't break any molds, but it was it did a good job. I thought at that kind of trope, and it made me definitely hungry.
It sure did. I wanted to try the food. I wanted some of the chocolates from our friends' business. It just kind of give you more of like because I have family that's in Seattle, so I never got to visit like the smaller like island towns like one of my friends used to live out there for. I'm like I get to see like that version of it, from that standpoint. I'm like okay, get to see like an Italian family, operates in a sense, but also learning how to take risk. Either it's like, learning how to move on, learning how to still preserve a classic dishes though, but also adding new ones. Like
Hmm.
that's what I've learned, watching this movie. Learning to take
Yeah.
risk in your family, like having the daughter design like, artsy, things for like the menus and everything. And I was wondering, did she ever show her dad that before he passed away, or had a
Hmm.
creative mindset to add her artwork later on into the business?
Well, she would have probably been because it'd been a couple of years,
Yeah.
so she would have been pretty little when he passed away. I don't know if she would have been drawing by then, but maybe. But yeah, that finding ways to honor her late husband while also keeping the restaurant open, because if it closes, then that doesn't do any good
No, that's
in
like
honoring him.
that part. I love how they got the oil during.
Mm.
I was like, wait, they really about to play this card game and win some oil? I was like, whoa.
Yeah, we kind of forgot to talk about that in our recap, but it was fun. It was funny, I thought. Yeah. And the whole thing with the Monday meals,
Hmm.
trying to make everybody at the restaurant feel like family. I thought that was really nicely done, executed. The whole thing with what a wonderful world and is, and
Hmm.
the ukulele, that was nicely
Oh
done.
my
I love
goodness.
that. arrangement of that song.
Yes, especially at the end, I was like, oh.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I thought this movie had an excellent final kiss
Yes,
because you think he's left to Greece and then it comes back or doesn't leave and I just thought that was really earned and very well done.
yes. I'm like, please don't leave. Like, don't leave. Like, I thought he
Well,
did.
and Tyler always does a great job with the kisses.
Oh, yeah.
He's really
Yes.
good. And I thought they had pretty good chemistry. I mean, again, I think Tyler almost always has great chemistry with whoever he's working with.
Yes.
But I thought that aside from him leaving because he overhears her talking, that seemed like a little bit of an overreaction, but then he didn't actually leave, so it
Yeah.
was fine.
No, it was fine. It was fine.
But yeah, I thought that was really good, and ending with the Monday meal at the
Yes.
restaurant, that was good, and we also find out that he has his own wounds with his
Yes.
fiance.
Yes. That took me. That was like a really like took me shock. I was shocked when he told everybody that. I was like, wait a
Hmm.
minute. I thought like she just broke your heart. She just left you, but she died.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
wow.
and then I thought that Antonio, he was pretty dreamy.
Oh yeah, he was. Like I'm like, make me your version of what you're gonna make. Just give me Antonio's classic meals, please.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought that he would hook up with Elizabeth's best friend because they always
Yeah, I did too. That would have been fun to
like
have like a little side romance for him.
yes, because she was like the chocolates. He does that could have been a whole thing.
Yeah. The only thing about the food in this movie is that it all felt like really heavy. And I feel like we're moving away from that. In at least I am. I don't know if the whole world is, but I don't know. I feel like that a lot of restaurants are kind of moving towards lighter, more farm fresh kind of
They
type
are.
fare. This was like all cream sauces and just very heavy sounding. I don't know if I'd want to go to this restaurant.
They added a little bit of cherries that they imported.
Right.
But no, I did have noticed that they some, especially a lot of businesses do reach out to local farmers, organic farmer. They have it in their backyard, like just like in the last movie, the Runaway Romance, where their um, bed and breakfast they had a garden. They like no, our came from our garden. I'm like, oh, that's really neat.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
well, they did talk about everything was sourced from the island. So, at
Yeah,
least
from Italy.
yeah, from
So I guess
Italy
that's
and also I think locally in the area as well. So they had a little bit of both.
yeah. So I think I gave this one 3.5 in our longer review. What would you give it?
I was gonna do a 3.5 as well. 3.5.
Mhm. All right. Next on the 16th, we had the Love Classified. This is on Hallmark Channel, and it stars Melora Hardin, Max Lloyd Jones, Catherine McNamara, Stacey Ann Harding director, Lynn Sternberger writing, and this is a long summary, so forgive me. But it's Hardin portrays romance novelist Amelia, described as a whirlwind who blows back into the lives of her adult children, Taylor and Zach, under the pretense of a book signing arranged by her hometown's local bookshop. As Amelia tries to reconnect, Taylor and Zach explore new and past relationships through an app that boasts old-fashioned human connection by way of the classified ads. Zach is given a chance to heal old wounds while Taylor matches with a woman that changes the way she's always thought about love. This is such a fun story from writer Lynn Sternberger that is ultimately a story of love, family, and commitment in all its forms. So, what did you think of this one overall?
Overall, let's see. It literally was a 90s, early 2000s rom-com. The first like 5 minutes of it, I was like, am I in a rom-com that I can watch this in a movie? Like I thought I could just go to the movie theater and watch this in theater at first. I was like, okay, but as it kept going along, sorry, sorry, Hallmarkies, I fell asleep about 20 minutes into the movie, like in the middle of it though, cause I was tired. I came back from a
Uh-huh.
bridal shower, but I did watch majority of the movie though. It was just trying to piece people together. It's kind of like they didn't label everybody yet, so it's kind of like you're piecing everybody together. But I love the idea of a new twist into a dating or like no, take that back. You know the website like meetup.com where
Mhm.
people do like group activities stuff like that. That's what it
Mhm.
felt like. It was just taking the classifieds off of the paper and putting it into an app. And I was like, that's different and clever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I celebrate the diversity in this film. I want to say that outright.
Okay.
I think that's great. I absolutely think we should be telling all different stories. I have no problem with that at all. In fact, I celebrate it. I still didn't like the movie. I hate to say it. I know it's getting a lot of praise and a lot of people enjoyed it, and I celebrate that. I think that's great. But I just didn't like Catherine McNamara's character. I thought she was annoying, frustrating. I didn't enjoy her. I didn't I, it just didn't make any sense to me that so she starts dating this woman again, which is great. I have no problem with that. But she breaks up with this woman because she's a doctor and she's seeing her mother as a patient. Her mother is a patient first. What? That makes no sense. I mean, why on earth would you break up with somebody because they're doing their job? Like she doesn't have any control over what patients come to her and, you know, don't come to her. Like she just treats whoever comes to her practice. So, and I would never want to be with somebody who dumps me because of doing my job. I don't even understand really what this woman saw in Catherine McNamara's character, aside from the fact she's beautiful. I
Mhm.
would not want to be with her. I wouldn't want to date her. And so I just, I just found her annoying, and it really soured the movie for me. I,
Yeah, I can agree with you. I feel like Taylor had a lot of childhood, trauma, especially with her dad dying or, whatever happened with her and her parents. But at the same time, it's like, don't take it out on your brother, your mom. How about you've been gone? Like, yes, you've been hurt. Your dad died though, but think about it this way: your mom's hurting too. She lost the love of her life. You're not the only person that's
Mhm.
hurting. Like, there's things that's called therapy. Mental health is very important. Like that, walk through that. Like, now until you come to this or that, you want us to show up for your thing. I'm like, you know what? That's her coping mechanism to be on the road. Not to think about it. Yeah, she has a doctors and everything, but she needs to take care of her mental health. And
Mhm.
I 100% agree with you. Like Taylor could have been way better. Like I was like looking at her brother's act like, how is that your sister?
Yeah. And I mean, I was more interested in their relationship kind of than I was into any of the other relationships. I thought the brother sister dynamic was probably the strongest
Hmm.
of the movie. And uh I liked Max Lloyd Jones. I thought he was really good. I liked Melora Hardin. She was good in the role, but I also felt like they sold me on a movie that I did not get. I mean, this was should have been on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. It was a family drama, and I just wanted I was tired. It was a long day. I wanted to sit down and just watch a fluffy, fun rom com, and instead, I got this drama
Drama,
full
yes.
of kind of annoying people that I didn't like, and I just felt sour about it. I didn't enjoy it.
I know. I thought it would be. I thought it'd be. I feel like the mom was going to be writing the book called The Love Classified, and write about the different love dynamics, and then kind of like she was like narrator in that sense. That's why I loved the first 5 minutes. I'm like, I'm here for it. Let's do this. And
Yeah.
then I'm like, and it didn't happen. It just basically all about Taylor and her problem. Like, I don't like you. Like, you broke. Like, you called me out for dinner. Like, really? Like,
Yeah, if you want a better example of this kind of story, if you think about "'Tis the Season to Be Merry," the one with
mhm.
Rachel Lee Cook,
Okay.
Travis Van Winkle, that she's writing a dating advice book in that movie, and she kind of learns to eat her own words, and it's very funny, and like they could have brought in way more of that into this.
Definitely.
And I don't mind them having conflict. I don't mind drama, but I do think you have to sell people in the right movie so they don't sit down with the wrong expectations. And then also you have to make the conflict make sense. Like, again, when people just behave irrationally, that's not compelling. It's just frustrating. And her dumping her girlfriend because she's a doctor who happened to treat her mom makes no sense. It's not a rational decision. So it just feels frustrating. It doesn't feel compelling. I'm not invested in her character or in the drama that's happening because I'm just like, why are you doing this?
That part. I was really confused about that
And
part too. I'm like, your mom's sick.
yeah.
She's trying to tell you she's sick, but you don't want to hear it. But then you want her to hear you.
And it's just like completely out of her girlfriend's control. Like, she doesn't have any control over who comes into her office and or not. Like, and she have to treat who comes in. I don't know.
Confidentiality, and think about this: your girlfriend did not know that was your mom. Like, there's gonna be a lot of Blooms in the city that we don't know about.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'll give it a 2.5. But I really didn't. It was not for me, unfortunately. What would you give it?
I was gonna do a 3, just be in the middle, but I feel like I want.
Mm-hmm.
I really give it a 3 because I love the bookstore. Like 2
Yeah.
covers. I thought that was so interesting in itself. I was like, I want to go to that bookstore, and then her character was so cute. I'm like, I love her character. It was just like, but it could have been better. I feel like it took all that little Taylor drama out of it and focus on the different meetups and locations and stuff. And while the mom could have told the story of how love classifies, X, Y, and Z. But I will give you this. I laughed my butt off at the bar scene. Like, no.
Yeah, that was the best. That was good.
I was like, no way. Like, wait, I'm going to classify. I'm looking for my mom. I was like,
yeah, that was funny. I'll give you that. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
Next, we had A Tale of Love, and this was on the 23rd. Brittany Bristow and Chris McNally, director Leif Bristow, writer Richard Beatty, and Agnes Bristow. So those are Leif and Agnes are Brittany's parents, which is fun. And then when Bella discovers that funding for her dog rescue center is discontinued, she turns to JR, a soldier who quickly becomes attached to one of her rescues, a German Shepherd named Indy. So what did you think of this one?
For this one, Chris might make me become a when called a Hardy. I might become a Hardy after this. I'm like, you're gonna make me become a Hardy.
Yeah.
It reminded me a little bit of the fall harvest movie, Love, Law and Order. It reminded me a little bit of that, but in a dog sense of like the property dispute situation. That would it reminds me of, but involving dogs. But yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, we just got we had just had a dog movie.
We did.
Now all of a sudden my brain has.
I know. I can't remember the other dog movie too. I can't remember it too. I don't remember it, but I remember it. The only dog movie I actually remember was the one with training your dog or training your husband as a dog.
Oh yeah, what's that one? My husband is that was one of the weird ones that they got during quarantine.
Yeah, I was like, okay. It what I know. I see the picture because she was no. I remember it was about that dog. I guess she was operating illegally as a dog owner or something like that. Was that it?
Oh, well, I mean, Love Unleashed is one of my all-time least favorite Hallmark movies. Do not care for that at all.
But I do like the other one when they had to share the dog custody one. Like they both wanted the kids wanted about the dog.
Oh, that one's cute.
I
Love to
love
the
that one.
Rescue.
Yes.
I mean, we should do an episode ranking Hallmark dog movies.
Oh my gosh, that would be good. And then which dogs are? Yeah, we can do like our honorary dogs.
Yeah, I mean, there's Unleashing Mr. Darcy. That one's popular.
Well, I thought this was really good. I felt like
How to Train Your Husband. That's what
there
it's
it
called.
goes. How you train your husband.
Yeah. I thought this one was fine. It was sweet, kind of basic Hallmark movie with some likable stars. It was a little boring, if I'm honest, for me, but it was still overall, it was cute.
I'm still trying to figure out because she kept saying over and over again that her heart keeps she want to have her heart broken again. But I'm like, who broke? I can't remember who broke her heart and when it happened, why it happened. But you said I just want my heart to be broken again. Like she didn't clarify it more. In that sense, I was like,
yeah, I think it had been. Yeah, that's true. She just kind of talks about it. I didn't need that clarification, but it was just kind of like we knew every step of the way what was going to be happening, which happens a lot in Hallmark movies, but sometimes they can kind of take those basics and make them a little bit more exciting with the characters and the banter and the other things. In this, it dragged in parts. It just was like, okay.
no,
but the dogs were cute. The leads are likable. So it was fine.
I just look a little.
I feel bad. Yeah, I feel bad because the lady who played her grandma, Jane Eastwood, she is awesome. She's such a good actress. But she played Mrs. Hammond in Anne of Green Gables, who's like the worst. Like abusive and terrible and everything like that. Sometimes I have a hard time. Like I have a hard time finding her as like warm and lovable. Which is so not fair. I get it. But nevertheless, that's one of my favorite movies ever is the 1985 Anne of Green Gables.
Oh, I get
it. Have you seen that?
I have not actually.
You should.
I'm going to put that on my notes.
So good. Yeah, it's perfect. I wouldn't change a thing about it.
But I would say the reporter, I need to get more information to see the movie she has been in so far. But she's one of those like side characters, like one of those supporting characters where she walks into like the boardroom. Like I know when she left, she's like, I know how I came in. I'm gonna lead the way I came out. I was like, I love her. I'm like, she just
she was fun. And the dogs were so cute.
Yes, I was like, I want to go.
Yeah, and little Indy. I mean, big Indy. He was a big dog, but he was so cute. And I do think Chris McNally is so handsome.
He is.
Whether he's on When Calls the Heart. And I've been a big fan of his from his very beginning on Hallmark. He had a small role in Rocky Mountain Christmas, which I was like, who is that brother? You can listen to the recap. 2017. I was like, he is so handsome.
Like, where are you? Like, I need you to come to the forefront.
Yeah.
Like,
so they've done great things with Chris McNally.
I know. I'm like, I sit here like I can watch you in this. Like there's some parts of which I agree that were like kind of like dragging a little bit. I'm like, I can just sit here and just watch him drink coffee by the water outside his house. I'm like this was just beautiful in itself. And then you and Indy, I was just like,
oh, Indy was great.
Yes.
And it must be fun for Brittany to do a movie like this with her parents.
Yes.
That must be a blast. So, yeah, I give this one, I think, a 3 or 3.25.
Yeah, I was going to be a 3 as well.
Yeah, 3. All right, last one is Curious Caterer Dying for Chocolate. And this was on the 10th on Movies and Mysteries. Stars Nikki DeLoach and Andrew Walker, director Anthony C. Mecci, writer Irene Dobson, and John Christian Plummer, a single mom who's thrust into the role of town sleuth to help solve a friend's mysterious death. And you didn't get a chance to see this one, correct?
I didn't, and I've been trying to find it for the longest. I even had it on saved on like my like little DVR on like my thing. I'm like, so it just disappeared off the like listings. Like,
well, it's weird because I also forgot to save it on my DVR, and they're not rebroadcasting it until the end of May.
Oh my
which is
god,
so weird.
It'll
You think for a new series they'd want to show it a bunch of times, build enthusiasm, build hype.
Thank you.
But the only reason I ended up seeing it was because a friend of mine had it on their Sling, and so I was able to watch it.
I was like,
but
I'm more trying to catch different commercial parts of it or like different scenes if I can get it. I'm like, I need more because this doesn't help me.
Yeah, I mean, and overall, I thought it was pretty good for a start. I feel like the first episode of these mysteries are usually not like the best because we have to set everything up, and then they get kind of better going forward. But the murder was pretty grisly. It was pretty intense, and the whole thing took itself very seriously, and which surprised me a little bit because with a name like "Dying for Chocolate," you expect it to have a little bit more camp than it did. And I don't know, I go back and forth because sometimes I want these movies to be like a little more realistic than they are. Like when they try to bring in morning show chefs into solving crime, I'm just kind of like, this is ridiculous. But then other times I feel like they take themselves too seriously and then it's too much the other direction. Like I thought the Haley Dean movies took themselves too seriously and I don't know, we're just not fun enough. And so there's like a perfect midway point that I think the Garage Sale Mysteries just nailed. And maybe Mystery 101 is pretty good with that. It's a tough thing to do. This definitely went on the serious side, I think. And I did appreciate the fact that Nikki played it like you really would if you were you like a real person. If they stumble upon a dead body and stuff like that, you would be shocked. It would be horrific. And so often in these mysteries, the person solving the crime, it's just kind of like, oh, okay, move on. my friend was just murdered. But not in this case. Like she definitely felt the trauma and you felt like her acting abilities in this. And you could feel a little bit of that chemistry between her and Andrew. Andrew's definitely very serious, dedicated to his job, kind of a thing. And but overall, I thought it was decent. I liked it pretty well. I thought they could have leaned a little bit more into the camp, and for with the name "Dying for Chocolate," there was not enough chocolate.
Oh damn! We need more chocolate. Wait, at least bleed out chocolates. Do something.
Yeah. So I would give this a 3.5. I thought it was a pretty good start.
Okay. Definitely gonna watch it either by tomorrow. And I will leave a comment either on Twitter or on Patriarch page that what my star is, because I need to know my crown.
Good. That would be good. Well, thank you so much for talking about these movies with me. I really appreciate it. And where can people follow you on social media?
They can follow me on Twitter, Instagram at Shreem, which is SHREEM16. That's where usually I'm at. Usually on Twitter, usually daytime or nighttime, depending on what I'm doing. Or I'm checking in and out of Instagram, but I'm usually there. So I'm catching up literally on like the 7 Deadly Sins right now. Like we're watching that era right now.
Nice. Well, you can follow me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So please check that out. And also check out the podcast at Hallmarkies Pod and Hallmarkies Podcast, all over social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave us your ratings and reviews, 5 stars. That helps us so much. We also have our patron group and merch store. And at the patron group, this weekend, you can be part of our monthly activity where we're having a Q&A with writer Kathy Cloves. and she is the writer of The Christmas Promise and It Was Always You, which were very popular. She's not on social media, so this is really going to be one of your only chances to talk with her and about these movies. So it's definitely worth it. Sign up for the Patreon, help the podcast, and get to be part of these really cool events. All that information is in the description. Really, really appreciate it. And then at the merch store, we have tons of Hallmark inspired designs that you can get, totes and shirts and whatever you want on them. And we really appreciate that support. And thanks so much again, Jazzman. We had a blast, and we'll talk to
Yes,
y'all
we
later.
did.
Bye, everyone.
See you guys.